Welcome back to another episode of the Block Runner Podcast. I'm your host, William, always here with your co-host, Iman. And on the sticks, we got TJ.
Hello.
What's up, guys? Finally,
How's it going?
We got the Moses. The Memecoin Moses finally joins us today. After a year of hiatus, he comes back.
Who's Iman, dude?
Yeah, that's true. I should have said Memecoin Moses.
That's right. There's a new entity in the room. You acknowledged a
pseudo anonymous.
Some other facet of reality.
Right.
Right?
Then rebirthed.
Alternate reality, correct.
Yeah, we've got a new one brewing here. And for those of you first acquainted,
yeah.
I'm sorry if this is like blasphemous in any way, but the ideation of Memecoin Moses was more of a reactionary feat than anything.
Correct. There's a lot of religious undertones when it comes to cryptocurrency.
Right.
And so we are commentating on that and
that's right.
Leveraging it.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Or more so, this was a reaction to Memecoin Jesus, aka Murad, which we talked about last week, and his ability to meme pill the earth, right? Yeah. So it's very, and then, yeah, through the utilization of these core tenets and beliefs that, it's part of religion, if you will.
Yeah, for sure.
So, yeah, this is not an act of degradation in any way towards anything holy. This is more of a, how do we expand the grace and holiness of our existence into the digital realm? It's really what we're attempting to do here, right? So in act of that, let me present Nat.
There it is on the tablet.
On the tablet. So in tablet theme, we will be presenting 10 new NATmandments.
NATmandments, right?
Yeah, we took a lot of time to try and figure out what are we going to call these things, right?
Yeah.
So Murad has his 17 list. Yeah, you go ahead and set that up, dude. I don't understand modern technology. I'm from the past.
Here it is.
Right? All right. So this is the current day iteration of a tablet. Back in my day,
yes,
much more primitive, right?
Correct. Yeah. Back in the day, you had to chisel this into stone.
That's right. And much more intimate of like an interaction with a physical thing in order to like cement.
It's more permanent.
You could say. I mean,
it feels like it.
Digital. Yeah. I mean, especially after like last week's like AWS predicament.
Yeah.
Dude, imagine having a typo on a stone tablet.
Yeah. You have to do hours of work all over again.
Yeah, man. So in this whole digital realm, the modern age, it's questionable what's real and what's not, right?
Yeah.
One day we could all be playing Halo peacefully. The next,
prohibited.
Pulled.
Yeah.
It's like, why isn't Halo working today, guys? Along with like every other app.
Literally every app wasn't working.
Yeah.
So, except for some of them, like Track. Track was working.
I wonder why.
That's right. Yeah. Peer-to-peer.
Peer-to-peer.
Decentralized. Weird.
It's actually not a meme in some corners of this industry.
What a weird thing, right?
Yeah. But yeah, it's we're finding out quickly like how fragile the infrastructure pillars of the internet are, right?
Yeah, so if you go back a week, we talked about the 100x list from Murad, and like you're saying, we have a 1000x, potentially 1 million x thesis here.
Sheesh. Yes. Yeah, we thought we would contribute to that end, right? It's like, okay, Nat, our wonderful, glorious thing.
Yes.
Called Nat. It fulfilled all of Murad's tenets, right? Which we kind of labeled as like one half of the brain hemisphere.
Yes.
Much more leaning to like the esoteric realm of like human emotion and the invocation of feeling.
Yeah.
Right. And
more emotional approach.
Yeah, which is obviously super valuable.
Yeah.
In the context of like human psychology and such, which is why, in these perilous times, some would label as dystopic.
Yeah.
People are obviously seeking for these types of opportunities.
Speaking of dystopia, even AI is affected by the trash that we see on our feeds, including TikTok and Twitter, Facebook.
That stuff has a name now, dude. It's called brain rot.
That's right. Yeah.
which I've been trying to figure out for a while now what the hell brain rot is.
And it has officially poisoned our LLMs.
And our children.
Most importantly.
And possibly us. Probably us.
Yeah.
So what do we do about it?
Yeah, so apparently you can inject enough information that is not necessarily relative to the size of the LLM, enough information that poisons the LLM that makes it 30% more dumb. And these scientists don't really understand like why or how, but they've discovered that this is a correlation.
Yeah.
The more trash you put in, the trash you get out.
Yeah, so we need to be very careful and sensitive with what it is we consume and digest. Specifically with the internet, but also in the context of here in crypto, we need to do, take more precautionary measures not to like fully disembrace. Sorry, my my scarf just displaced itself. So not fully discard and displace the idea of like the other half of the brain, right? Which is the more analytical, logical, substance-seeking side of the brain, right?
Yeah.
Which, over the last few years or a couple of years, there's been an active attack against that side of our brain.
I know. It's so weird because I take great comfort in...
That is your zone, dude.
My zone, yes. This logical thinking, this logical process that leads to a conclusion.
Yeah, which is hence why you've struggled over the last couple of years to maintain exuberance and excitement about our industry and our space, right?
If you go back to our podcast, there's been several instances over the last 2 years specifically where it's like, what are we doing here?
Yeah, you asked the big question. That is the big question, actually.
And people still ask that for a good reason.
Yeah, because I think that's important. In order for, again, the logical side of the brain to like fully activate, it's like, oh man, this is tantalizing me enough to sustainment or fulfillment, right?
Yes.
So where I feel like I have ample purpose in this direction.
Yeah, I think if you boil it down, my question was about purpose. What is the purpose of this industry?
Yeah, but you're looking for a more fundamental one, like a purpose that leads to some semblance of progress.
Yeah, some progress. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and that has largely been not addressed in many occasions when it comes to, I don't know, funding announcements to these projects. Just like overall cryptocurrency industries just going awry.
Yeah, state of limbo. So we're going to attempt with our new 10 commandments to re-inject some more substance into this discussion, right? Which, if there's opportunity at all out there, yes, you want it to fulfill you in like a spiritual sense and like a human connectivity sense.
Yes.
These things are important, but you don't want to disengage the other hemisphere, if you will.
Correct.
So what we're proclaiming here is NAT covers it all. Right?
Yeah, so let's get started. So last week we showed the 100x list from Murad, where it focused on the right side of the brain, the creativity side. And if you haven't watched that video, I recommend you guys watch it. It's in the YouTube channel. Just go back a week, and you'll be able to see this. And we alluded to covering both the left and the right a week later, which is right now. So the first one here that focuses more on the left side of the brain, the analysis, logic, idea, facts, math.
I hated that subject. I was kidding.
And training.
Yeah. Again, this is your zone.
Yes.
You love this stuff.
Yes. So here's the Block Runners 1000x list.
That's right. So we've caught a couple of these in the past.
We have.
Because, we've, I don't know. You'd have to study our channel over the last 6 years or so to like kind of really grind down to the fundamentals of.
Yeah. I was going to say these 10 items that we're about to talk about here, they're sort of like embedded in our brain in a not so clear black and white text.
Yeah.
Where we've used this list as a measuring stick against like what we discover in crypto.
Yeah, and I think we didn't have a list here.
No.
To like checkbox as we were like analyzing.
Correct.
It's more of like this is just what resonates to us.
Yeah. Which happens to coincide with 1000x potential.
Yeah. And I think that's valuable.
Yeah, I think that's kind of what you're looking for, right?
Yeah. So this is why we've broken it down, and we've tried to approach NAT with as much objectivity as possible, because we're
As
in
much
this,
as we can.
Yeah, we're in this weird predicament of a situation, right? Where it's like we've spent the last 7 years analyzing the space, like intuitively looking for this stuff.
Yeah.
And then what we're saying is this thing we happen to have a part in creating is the like
one.
Typically one of the things we're looking for. But how much of that is bias?
Yeah.
And how much of it is not, right? And that's the problem for us.
I'm glad you said that, because there is a lot of evidence in our YouTube channel to suggest that a lot of the stuff that we did find that had 1000x potential, that did achieve 1000x, had nothing to do with our own hands.
No. Typically not.
Like Bitmap, for example. Like, we didn't do that.
Yeah, we had small, well, I would think large, but small involvement in like Decentraland.
Yes.
In the sense that we were there, like basically its inception point, and watched it grow into this behemoth of a thing.
And one that we don't talk about often is QuickSwap.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think we were involved in that much.
No, we weren't involved. Correct. That's my point, is that that one did 1000x.
It did. Yeah. So you're right. And in most of the cases, obviously, we had no hand in any of it, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, like Bitmap, we spent a lot of time dissecting the opportunity, the potential of, a non-arbitrary starting point to a metaverse, essentially, which we still think is critical to like the actual overall metaverse theory or thesis.
Yes.
There's some core fundamentals that are misaligned currently with what we interpret as current day metaverse to what we feel is long-term sensible or viable, if you will. So if you understand like the human psyche and like, history of economic proliferation.
Yeah.
Just doesn't really compute. And like we have some examples of that. One kind of, sorry, I keep displacing my slinky here, or whatever it's called. What do you call these things? Scarfs?
Yeah.
Yeah, the CSGO skin economy just erupting overnight because, again, these things are completely arbitrary and they're subject to human levers.
Yeah.
So like these are going to be permanent, like, what do you call them? Points of attack, or
like vulnerabilities. Yeah.
To the underlying economics of the whole thing, right? So you can't ever form real trust around that. You can form trust around Bitcoin.
Yeah, right? Absolutely. Yeah, Bitcoin is built with this stuff embedded into it.
Yeah.
And that's why it's so powerful. So let's get started with the 1000x list. And number 1, it says coin solves a big problem.
Hold on, you didn't say big hard enough, dude.
Big problem.
I put that in caps for a reason. I was expecting an emphasis because I think it's important. It should be a really big problem.
Yeah, and so what we did here is, okay, so coin solves a big problem. So let's take the biggest coin out there, Bitcoin. What problem does it solve? So Bitcoin solves the big problem of trust. It says it replaces the need to trust governments and banks with a system secured by math, transparency, and decentralization. So, of course, we're gathered today to discuss NAT. It says Bitcoin's security budget issue is a big problem, and NAT addresses it specifically, directly, in a very efficient way. Cultural stagnation around on-chain activity, nothing new or inspiring to experiment with.
Yeah, I think that's a big problem. Everybody, if you're like paying attention to this space for any amount of time over the last few years, you feel this. You feel that angst and dread every day when you're like forcefully subjected to crypto Twitter. It's like, what's interesting of the now, guys? And
it's extreme exhaustion is what I'm picking up.
Yeah, me too, from everybody, because crypto used to, or like the on-chain environment in general used to be filled with these vectors of ingenuity and like innovation and just new pathways of exploration. And that's why it was so attractive. Remember?
Yeah.
We fell in love with this industry, which is why we felt the need to podcast about it and create content.
Yeah, literally the guy who prefer to stay quiet is the one who's like doing a podcast.
Yeah, that's a miracle in itself.
Indeed, I would agree.
I think your wife would testify, right? She's like, I can't believe anything got him to like say more than a few words at a time.
Yeah.
It's this stuff that we built a passion around, right? And
Yeah.
a lot of personal identity, and like again, our purpose is in like discovering new vectors of this stuff that captured us so well. But yeah, the last couple of years have been pure ass, just about.
I would agree.
And we've been saying it's like, this thing we've discovered doesn't feel like so much ass.
No.
Right? It feels like...
It was quite the opposite.
Yeah. And like you're saying, luckily we have outside validators saying the same thing.
Yeah.
It's not literally just us. Like,
yeah, and we have to maintain like questioning ourselves all the time, just because we want to make sure we're not just like, sniffing the glue too hard,
Just a little bit of glue sniffing to not damage too many cells at once, right?
Right.
Yeah, I totally agree. So I think that's a big problem that needs solving. And we feel like anytime that has happened, the result of that has been like a subsequent mania, a fervor, if you will, for people who, onboard into this like new discovery, right? Whether it was the discovery of DeFi, the discovery of NFTs, whatever, right? It's always been like, holy shit, this is actually awesome.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I can't wait to figure out what I can do with it.
Yeah, NFTs are such a big deal. It's just being undercut because of the experience that we all had in 2021, where everything essentially dropped 99.99%. Not a big deal.
Not a big deal.
Yeah.
Correct.
And so, for example, here, this is one of the big problems that this solves: non-immutable state of digital existence. So Azuki, arbitrary supply expansion. The Azuki team needed more money, so like, let's just create more pictures.
I think like a full slew of 10,000 new ones, right?
Yeah.
Is that what it was?
Easy, dude. It's easy money, right?
Let's just decide 2x the supply, and we need more funds.
Yeah, and then the Believe project, they arbitrarily did a supply expansion to make room for VCs.
Yeah.
Let's just do that.
Let's just create a new token, migrate to it. Oh, but by the way, there's 30% new supply in existence, so
that's for us and the VCs.
Yeah, we can.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, suckers. Right? Things like this. And then, of course, huge fallout as a result. It's like, I did not sign up for this when I first, became a participant in your ecosystem. I had no knowledge ahead of time like that this was going to happen.
Yeah, I thought this was like immutable, guys.
Yeah, not so much.
No.
And then, the CSGO thing we talked about earlier.
Yeah,
very similar vibes, right?
Yeah, CSGO, they just made an update. They made like really common assets convertible into like less common assets or more rare assets. And so the $6 billion economy dropped 60%.
So what does that do? It reduces
erodes
the scarcity.
Right?
So
it reduces the scarcity, but the time and effort for people to achieve these like rare items just gets completely thrown under the bus.
Yeah, I mean, it just like drastically alters the dynamics again for people who are part of that economy, that digital economy within the skin market.
Yeah,
they didn't sign up for that, right? They were real time spotting the value of things based on like this assumed preset condition, right? Which is like these things are scarce and they will remain scarce, and then you change that a bit.
Yeah.
So people's perceptions are, befuddled a little bit.
Yeah.
And it's funny because one of the solutions to this big problem of the Bitcoin security budget is to essentially do exactly that with Bitcoin supply itself.
It's like let's invent scarcity for the first time ever in humanity, right? And then it's like the first thing we want to do is just eliminate the scarcity.
Yeah, just because it's like this subsidy equation veered too far out of the sustainability zone, so it's like we have no choice. And what do you think that's going to do to the dynamics of the perception of value? It's going to completely tumble it. So that's why it's not a viable solution. That's why you've got to anchor yourself more deeply into NAT. Right?
Yeah. So if you agree that Bitcoin should be decentralized, you buy NAT.
Mm-hmm.
So number 2, invokes feeling of existential threat if core problem is not addressed. So let's apply this to Bitcoin. Since 2008 housing crisis, the U.S. has kicked the can down the road by propping up growth with endless debt, money printing, and artificial low interest rates instead of addressing structural imbalances. An existential dread sets in knowing that when the illusion of endless debt finally collapses, it could unravel the very foundations of modern society's stability and trust. So then Bitcoin emerges as an antidote of this existential dread because it is designed to counter the very mechanisms of monetary decay that created it. While fiat currencies rely on debt expansion, political discretion, and opaque central banking, Bitcoin operates on immutable mathematical rules and transparent consensus. Its fixed supply of 21 million coins offers a form of digital scarcity that cannot be inflated away or manipulated to serve short-term agendas.
Yeah, so that's the feeling. That's why people resonate with Bitcoin, right? So strongly.
Yeah.
Because if this Satoshi experiment doesn't pan out, then whenever the inevitable can kickery like ceases to function the way it has over the last 20 or so years, there's literally nothing there as like a escape vessel, right, to this fallout effect.
Yeah, it's like if you don't like my fiat and Bitcoin fails, well, I guess we're just going to run fiat again.
Yeah, or like the only outcome is a mass scale war. In order to
which ultimately it's like, okay, if we're gonna have multiple fiats, well, my fiat is better than yours, and here comes a missile to prove it.
Exactly. There's nothing else for humanity to align with, right? But Bitcoin presents that, so we need Bitcoin to not fail.
Yeah. And so how does that apply to NAT? It says coin invokes feeling of existential threat. It says if Bitcoin continues down the path towards centralization due to its declining incentives, we risk losing the core ethos of Bitcoin. So if you guys go to the NAT paper and you read the introduction, this basically outlines what the path that we're going on at the moment with Bitcoin without the NAT token. We have a continuous network of miners going bankrupt, and slowly getting more centralized. And the miners that left behind, they get a little bit more profitable just because they have a bigger share in the pie. But ultimately, they were going to be faced with the same thing because Bitcoin cannot double forever. And even if it did, you are protecting a very valuable network with the same security budget as of 100 years ago, which is like essentially $30 billion.
Right.
So it's what needs to happen is as the market cap scales, the security budget needs to scale with it. It has to happen that way. Otherwise, this thing fails. And if it does fail, it's going to get more centralized and we're going to lead to a path, a forking. It says, here's the Bitcoin timeline where Bitcoin becomes centralized by nation states. There's going to be some people who are disappointed with that because they really like a decentralized version of Bitcoin, but they're super rich. And then other people who really don't care as long as I'm rich.
Yeah, it's like the most bullish outcome could be, Bitcoin's fixture within the, United States hegemony strategy of maintaining that, right? It's like, all right, then there's nothing to fear.
Yeah.
Now the United States, the global superpower, is fully incentivized to maintain any kind of security concern indefinitely.
Yeah.
Because it is an entire monetary apparatus pegged to Bitcoin's success.
And if
I'm happy, dude. I'm glad I bought that stuff.
Exactly. I think some people are going to be completely satisfied with this outcome. I think they're going to be fine. But in my opinion, if we maintain a completely decentralized Bitcoin, I think we're going to have an even better outcome, a higher market cap, just to, for simplicity's sake.
Which I think this segues into the very last commandment once we get to it.
Yeah.
But yeah. Decentralization is very much important to maintain in order to actually get us to a human aligned direction that is more, conducive to a better future.
Yeah, for sure.
Without saying too much. I don't want to spoil it yet because that's your grand your grand finale, dude.
Yeah. All right. So let's continue. Number 3 of the commandments. Coin introduces or popularizes a novel mechanic for digital assets. So applying this to Bitcoin, all this long story short is Bitcoin introduced blockchain technology. And then as soon as that happened, we had thousands of blockchain networks launch as a result.
Yeah, that's been like the the great awakening, I guess, of like digital existence, and then the subsequent value of that is 1,000,000x.
Yeah, correct. So 2010, 2011, 10 cents, around 10 to 30 cents, did 1,000,000x up to $111,000
Yeah, that's
in about 15 years.
It's pretty important, guys. You definitely want your coin to, along with it, again, bring in some new technical primitive, because
like Ethereum, programmable money, right? Their ICO price was 30 cents.
Yeah.
And compare it to now, that's a 12,000x, right? Introducing a new primitive leads to 1,000x gain. You're in finance, many 1,000x. CryptoPunks, first NFT, 400,000x. Axie Infinity, same thing, 1,000x. Play to earn.
Yeah, so all these came with it, again, like either technical primitives, standalone technical primitives, or just like the amalgamation of other primitives to create like some new market category, if you will, some new vector to the market that expands the value overall, right? Like that is important.
Yeah, part of the 2021 mania was play to earn.
That was a massive part of it.
Yeah, that was like you had PFP projects, and then you had projects that were play to earn.
Yeah.
Move to earn, sit to earn, think to earn. They had all this stuff.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, new categories yield high returns. So for DMT, it says we have digital matter theory, which essentially is a framework for people to leverage the Bitcoin blockchain to generate assets based off the production of block patterns. And then how you would do that is through non-arbitrary tokens. So we had the first example, which is NAT. And then we had the first example of a UNAT, which is a unique non-arbitrary token in the form of a PFP project called NatCats.
Correct.
And that spawned its own section of multiple PFP projects using this digital matter theory concept. And then again, non-arbitrary tokens tied to Bitcoin block patterns is like the newest thing, right?
Yeah, and then one of the big, I think, eureka moments will be once we get to the part where this stuff is applied on any chain, essentially, not confining these to just the Bitcoin environment.
Right.
Right, because I think that's important in order for like the masses to understand like how this is like an applicable new primitive to whatever sector or corner of the digital landscape that they care about, right? Whether it's I'm a DeFi degen, there's a much deeper DeFi liquidity. There's more depth to the liquidity of DeFi on Ethereum or Solana or whatever. So
yeah,
these things need to apply over there, right? Or play to earn mechanics, games that can now trigger enrolled events or enrolled commodities that are generative commodities based on patterns on Bitcoin, again, to obfuscate or to avoid these types of conundrums where like developers, teams like Valve just at a whim just decide to just disrupt the reality of that virtual environment.
Yeah, I mean, I gave you the example earlier today when you got here. I was like, imagine a scenario you're grinding away at Counter-Strike.
Yeah.
And you wake up and you see that the pattern has occurred again on Bitcoin. After 15 years, that pattern's back. That means that rare skin for your knife is out there in the game. You have to go and earn it.
Karambit, dude.
Right.
I think that's what they're called, the little Kirby knives.
Yeah.
I remember.
So now this rare asset is in the game. You have to go and grind for it, or buy as many loot boxes as you can as you can afford.
Yeah.
But you have to grind your way to it, and maybe at some point someone actually discovers this new rare asset.
Correct.
And it's because it occurred on Bitcoin. And like that is the proper mechanic in order to sustain these ecosystems, right? You can't just like arbitrarily change the rules just because you can. I mean, you shouldn't. You can, you shouldn't, but that's the issue.
Yeah, why do you think they did that? They must have tied like a cost sink to like reducing your junk items.
No, I bet you it's this. I haven't looked into it, but my guess is the community complained is like, I can't get any rare stuff. There's all the people who have all the common items.
Yeah, the casuals.
The casuals, they're complaining.
Casuals,
yeah, they're complaining. It's like there should be a way for all my shit items to be converted to rare.
That's exactly how World of Warcraft got killed, dude.
Exactly.
Literally, the casuals are complaining. all these losers who living in their mom's basement, grinding dungeons 18 hours a day. How come they get all the good stuff?
Yeah.
How come they get to be high warlords and,
Yes.
and those of us who have real lives, we don't get to have any fun in this game. Blizzard's like, okay,
Yeah.
let's just like scale everything down
And then
dramatically.
That was
It
it.
just really just removes all the esteem from achievement, basically.
Why do they do that? I think
Money, dude.
they're placating to like the masses.
Absolutely. There's more
I feel like,
more subscriptions,
but I wonder if it actually led to more subscriptions.
I mean, are they still around?
Are they?
Yeah. Not like in their thrivingest of 2008 states.
Yeah, I'd like to see the differences. Like once that
2006.
inflection came, did they make more money or
I think
less?
they did. I mean, that's whenever you started to see their damn commercials. Like, everyone remember this? Like Mr. T commercials and shit. I guess you don't.
No, I
You
don't.
don't remember, TJ?
I remember him.
Okay.
Mr. T on World of Warcraft?
Yeah, a commercial. He's like, I pity the fool. Is that Mr. T? That might be
That,
like.
that is.
Yeah, I pity the fool who, I don't know, doesn't
Wow.
raid. Yeah. It was cringe. It was horrible. But that was like the peak, right? Where
Yeah.
they're really gunning for the masses there.
Yeah, yeah.
But you're right. And so it's like stuff like that, right? I think it's more effective to build or to imbue our digital realities, virtual environments, whatever, with the same immutable structuring that Bitcoin has, and why it's such a reliable, like interpretively reliable store of value today in the context of like our human psychology.
I feel like they could have done a better job though. Like they could have created like a tier 2 for the casuals where it's like, yeah, you might get a rare item, but it's a tier 2. You're not like one of the elites.
If it doesn't hit as hard, dude.
Yeah, dude. Nobody wants to be tier 2.
Yeah, absolutely not.
Want to be tier 1 without all the work.
Right. Yeah, it's like gaming socialism is what it is.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Yeah. So it's like, WoW sucked. Like literally ever since then.
Yeah. The esteem just evaporated.
Yeah.
All right. So number 4, is there a reality disruption effect to the coin, aka challenges your perception of current day reality? So applying this to Bitcoin, it disrupts perception of reality by exposing that money, value, and even trust, once thought to require central authorities, can instead emerge from an open source code and collective belief in a decentralized system. And I couldn't agree more. How does that apply to NAT though?
Yeah.
It says digital matter theory redefines reality by unveiling inherent non-arbitrary patterns in blockchain data as the foundational atoms of tangible digital universe, empowering creators to discover and forge enduring, value-rich substances that transcend mere code.
I mean, we were literally just talking about this exact thing.
Yeah.
Right? It's this anchoring again the substance of our digital realm to the permanence of and the immutable structure of Bitcoin, something that cannot be tampered with.
Yes.
Right? Therefore, we have like certainty and trust in our digital economies, or more, at least more than what we have in the arbitrary landscape, right?
Yeah, I think what this inherently allows is for the growth of your community via non-arbitrary mechanisms, such as adding blocks to the Bitcoin blockchain that has the patterns of that rare sword that you're looking for in your game, right? So as that sword is forged onto the Bitcoin blockchain, you can expand your community because there's, essentially one more new asset that the community can grow and go after.
100%. And yeah, I think that's why, again, like these things are core and critical to the ideation of a metaverse, right? Which metaverse implies much more shared interoperability and connectivity among like a wide array of virtual environments. Right?
Yeah, absolutely.
But in the current scope and definition of like an arbitrary metaverse, these individual environments are subjected essentially to the individual whims of whatever foundational entity, party, whatever that structured them to begin with, and therefore they maintain the lever control of that. Even though they might say, yeah, all this stuff is like on chain, these are smart contracts, bro. Still, like the levers are there to where these things can be. And
even if it's fudged, like locked liquidity or like whatever, it's like on chain locked and you can't really modify, they can just create a new token somewhere else.
Yeah.
And bridge it, and that's how you finagle it. So like
Yeah.
your presentation is nice, but you
Mhm.
can still make the altercations.
Yeah, so therefore you can't ever have, again, the same human behavioral expectations kind of translate into the digital sense the way they, because we operate under the shared consensus of it's physics.
Yeah.
Physics is the software of the universe, essentially. It's
Yeah.
like we're all subjected to it. None of us can do anything about it. So we need
That
to.
reminds me, did you see what happened with Cadena?
No. Oh, yeah, the blockchain that just like.
It's a proof of work blockchain, and where the team would be like, okay, I guess we're done here. It's like we cannot
as
push
teams
this.
do,
Yeah,
yeah.
we cannot push this any further. We're going to leave this to the community,
Foundation.
to the foundation. Yeah.
It's like, let's just dial this thing.
And this thing went up to like 26 billion market cap, and right now it's at 20 million.
How much?
26 billion.
Like last cycle?
Yes.
Shit, how have I not heard of that? Cadena?
Yeah. It's
Sounds close to
Chico
Cardano.
Crypto. Chico Crypto used to push that hard.
Really?
Yeah.
Chico, dude, how could you? Yeah, I mean, shit. What are you gonna do, right? Industry
Yeah.
will industry.
Yeah, but I mean, Satoshi said, I'm done here, and like it's still going, right?
Right. So
So
I think that project didn't achieve something that we think is important, right? It's hitting some sort of threshold of critical adoption, right? Most of these blockchains have not done that.
correct, yeah.
They just launch, they raise tons of funds, and then they exist. But like, where's the proof of like actual utilization?
Longevity, sustainability,
Yeah,
like
to where you
developers.
can actually viably walk away, and like
Yeah.
there's enough of like of an ecosystem of a community present.
Yeah, I think ultimately that's what happened
For who? For
for
Bitcoin.
Cadena.
Oh yeah. It's just like, okay, I guess it's harder than it looks.
Yeah, I mean it's just a proof of work chain that supposedly solved the trilemma.
Oh god.
And
Yeah, I mean, well, maybe we haven't looked deep enough into it. Maybe the community does exist. Maybe
I think there could be a CTO here, a community takeover. I think
Yeah.
that's a chance because it got pretty big. Like there's a lot of people that were affected. There's so many people doing dollar cost averaging on Cadena for like years.
Wow.
And then all of a sudden it dropped 60% because of a tweet.
Yikes.
Yeah. All right, let's continue on here. Where were we at? So disruption effect, number 5. Coin has a value basis backed by quantifiable proofs.
Okay.
Bitcoin's price appreciation correlates inversely with major currency debasement events and central bank balance sheet expansions. So look at 2008 and post 2020 with the pandemic reinforcing its role as a monetary hedge.
Yeah, that's just one of, right, the
Yeah.
quantifiable, I guess, components to Bitcoin, right? You could have looked at Bitcoin in the earliest of days and agreed to the situation that it was kind of like directly counter to. Is the
Yes.
idea that the United States just escaped out of a financial conundrum through the act of like, quantitative easing and
Yeah.
just inflating and debasing the underlying currency value, stuff like that, right? And so it's like you can kind of strap a quantifiable validation around the idea. Like if these trends continue into the future, that makes like the potential value of Bitcoin itself that much more dramatically higher, raises the ceiling, if you will,
Yeah.
because it exacerbates the underlying like fundamental mismanagement, I guess, of like traditional finance. So had you made that conclusion and bought Bitcoin as a result of that,
Mm-hmm.
you're very much happy that, almost 20 years later, those
Yes.
problems have exacerbated,
Yeah. It's only getting worse.
And what has Bitcoin done since then? It's only gotten more valuable as a result.
That's correct.
And it's lend itself to more credibility over time.
Yeah.
So I was like, does Nat have something along those realms?
Yeah. If you know that fiat currency is going to defeat itself in terms of always printing new dollars because that's how it's supposed to work,
Yeah.
then if you build an asset that has extreme scarcity and provable scarcity, then you can assume that under this thesis that value would continuously go up as a result when you compare it to the dollar.
Yeah.
Right. So we are seeing the same thing with the NAT token. So what are the quantifiable proofs for NAT? It's like right now, Bitcoin is consuming roughly 186 terawatt hours per per year. And we know that as Bitcoin continues to have, that consumption is roughly costing the same every halving. And so the profitability of the whole network cuts in half. And so once the network cuts in half, then you need something. You either need Bitcoin to double or you need some sort of additional subsidy, right? And so the quantifiable proofs is we have deflationary technology. With deflationary technology, things get cheaper, faster, and better. And if things get cheaper, faster, and better for Bitcoin, it's easier and faster to attack Bitcoin. And so the only way to counter protect that is having a higher security budget in the form of revenue for the miners.
Right. So we've already established, adding telemissions to Bitcoin would completely unravel and disrupt the fundamental interpretation of the value dynamics there, right? Because it needs to maintain that, trustworthiness of artificial scarcity. That cannot be tampered with.
Yes, we have to maintain that. I mean, technically, if we reach consensus, we can change that. But I feel like that would completely unravel the value of Bitcoin.
To some degree. Maybe not fully. Maybe like over time, people just kind of like acclimate to that. That's just the new reality of Bitcoin. Potentially could be like the future new reality of gold, because apparently China can just make it in the lab now. Yep. I don't know. We haven't verified if that's like true. Yeah. But we saw the headlines, right?
Yeah, we did.
It's quite a coincidence, like just like global collusion between BRICS and China. That's why gold is going up.
Yeah, it's like, oh, by the way, it's like I can just make it in the lab.
Yeah, so it's like part of the strategy of China. It's like we got to compete with Bitcoin and with the United States and their eventual Bitcoin apparatus. So let's do that with gold. Oh shit! Turns out the United States owns the most amount of gold.
Yep.
Stockpiled somewhere that even Elon doesn't have access to.
Yeah.
So trust me, bro.
Yeah.
They got it. So I was like, maybe the counter strategy here is let's just make more of it so our stockpile reserves eventually outweighs what the United States can get access to.
That'd be an interesting strategy.
But what that does, so they're actively attempting to finagle those value dynamics.
Yeah, like 100%.
Gold has had for thousands of years.
Yeah, if it's really hard to find gold in the ground and then all of a sudden you can just make it, like that value perception just erodes, right?
Maybe, but isn't that kind of like diamonds? Like, isn't like diamonds is like this truly? I mean, you make it in a lab.
Well, they burn a lot of diamonds. They have artificial scarcity for diamonds.
That's what I mean.
So that they can number go up, right?
Yeah, so it's like you could essentially do the same thing with gold. Like as long as you have control over like the actual input outputs of like gold into circulation, the way the diamond industry does.
If you have control of that, but you can't really burn. I don't know. Maybe with enough heat, you could probably burn this metal, but you need extreme heat, right? It would be so extreme that this metal liquefies and then evaporates.
Interesting. Wow. Yeah, I don't know. It's just my point is maybe everything is fluid, right?
Yeah.
Something we all agree on today maybe is something 100,000 years from now is like not even.
Yeah, I agree.
The same
with nanotechnology, you could just print everything. You'd be able to print like one day the new iPhone 600 comes out, and then you have your computer that says, "I like this new iPhone." And you just print it at home.
Yeah, 100%. So yeah, okay. Back to Nat's case of quantifiable proof. So what you're saying is, what is the like most pertinent, I guess, mathematical figure to kind of keep an eye on?
And if there was ever one number to keep an eye on, it is the network's annual energy use, 186 terawatts. So when this number goes up, then security is going up. And so this is to me the best value, right? So the one that's commonly the common fallacy here is looking at the hash power. And so hash power is not a measure of security, because if it's cheaper and easier to create that same hash power because of better technology, where's the security coming from, right? If it's like really cheap and easy, right? So the security comes from the cost of attack, right? And so if things are getting cheaper, faster, and better, then you better be adding that technology to the network faster so that the cost continues to rise, not go down.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, it's a very challenging thing, but that's why it's so important to keep this decentralized, because if everyone is aligned to this goal, then you can actually achieve security, right? Under these systems of deflationary technology. So now let's go to number 6 here. Coin passes the Lindy test with original founder presence maintained to the point of critical mass adoption. So how does this apply to Bitcoin? Satoshi left in early 2011 based on archived snapshots of BitNode's processors and mailing list records. There were likely between 400 and 1,000 nodes running Bitcoin software. The network hash rate had already become dominated by GPU miners by then, and client diversity, Bitcoin 0.3x versions was starting to appear. So there was 2 things that happened. Nodes started to increase, and the diversity of the nodes, meaning people contributing to this open source software, started to happen.
Correct.
And July 18, 2010, the first public post announcing Mt. Gox, a Bitcoin exchange, appeared on bitcointalk.org.
Yeah, so whether or not these were the internal thresholds Satoshi was waiting for to, credibly...
Yeah, wait for? It's like...
Yeah, I feel comfy now. I think I've done enough. I've gotten Bitcoin to a point where it seems like an inevitability at this point. My involvement really doesn't do much anymore. If anything, it may hinder the pace of adoption.
Yeah.
Or that it was not at all what happened. It was just like a coincidence. Nonetheless,
yeah, maybe, yeah.
It needed Satoshi's involvement up at least into that point where there's now a community, like you're saying, several different interested parties in maintaining Bitcoin itself with their own client interpretations of it, right? And then an active
exchange
market support, right, for the actual value to be discovered of this thing.
Yes.
These are all fundamental ingredients. So at a minimum, we can quantify that as achieving some form of critical mass adoption, right? So
yeah, I agree. So what is that for NAT? NAT is the first ordinals native asset to reclaim its previous all-time high from a 2023 era, therefore first to pass the Lindy test, giving NAT the highest probability of all ordinals-based assets to persist and grow. So I would say this is one of the items. I think if there was ever a number that I would point to in order for our disappearance to be sustainable beyond that, would be $1 billion market cap.
Yeah, just from a psychology perspective, right? It seems like that's I don't know. That is a perceivable value of a thing to where there's enough people probably with shared vested interest in that thing who don't ever want to see that go to zero, right? So
so not only the vested interest of the holders, but also the entire Bitcoin network. They're sort of kind of depending on the NAT token.
Yeah. Well, that's not obvious yet, but at $1 billion it becomes way more obvious, right?
Yeah.
Where that essentially gets NAT into the realm of fee subsidy value.
Yeah.
In the realm. Not fully there, but it's in the discussion.
It's in the discussion, correct.
Yeah, so that's important. That is one of the threshold tenets that we didn't add on here, right?
Yeah, that's one. Independent indexers running DMT and TAP protocol, so that's a big one. Active markets integrating DMT protocol for trading of NATs. So we have Ordinals Wallet, Taproot Swap, non-KYC, Bit.com, several others in the mix. Cross-chain compatibility, tap bridge to ETH. Eventually, Wormhole can go from ETH to Solana and Binance, things like that. And then DEX, Axis, Uniswap, and soon more on these different chains. So these are all critical, very, very critical components to stand up.
Yeah, which, if you've been paying attention, they're all either completed milestones or in progress.
Yeah.
Or near to being in progress, right? So this is all very significant. Therefore making it, I think, viable in the running conversation of a potential 1000x, right?
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, because eventually, this thing is gonna have a life of its own, and it doesn't really need us to continuously talk about. And really, if you fundamentally, if you look at the options for choices to sustain the network, all the options are terrible, like terrible,
Right.
except for Nat.
Yeah, and if you're watching it, you definitely don't want this guy as like your leading voice. Your leading influencer, if you will, for this thing that we say can far outlive us, right? Or maybe you do. Maybe you do see this and like that's exactly what I want my life to be doing. I don't know.
Could you imagine having to dress up as Memecoin Moses for the rest of your life, dude?
Full time, dude,
Full
all
time.
day.
I mean, it is the one time a year I get to let my hair down. So
Like you can't be
Actually
seen
quite
at the
nice,
grocery
dude.
store without your
oh, I see.
the whole setup.
I actually become like a real living meme. It's
Right.
like where Bart Simpson becomes like a
Yeah.
what was that thing? It's like I didn't do it or something like that. It's like everywhere he goes, it's like say the thing.
Oh,
He's like I
Yeah,
didn't do it.
Eat my shorts.
Maybe that. Things,
yeah. What did he say?
I think it was. He was like I didn't do it. I think that was like the shtick of that episode.
Yeah.
I don't know, but there are other examples of that, right? Like
You can't be seen at the grocery store like with regular clothes now, basically.
yeah, man. Well, that's the least of my concern. I'm more concerned about like what is the CIA eventually think about Nat once it's like 100 billion market cap, and they're like they look back into the archives. Who started this thing? And it's like here I am. Here I am, FBI, dude. Come and get me.
And then all of a sudden, you're like at the grocery store, and it's just like a bullet comes through the window.
Oh God.
Jeez.
It's like got him.
That is concerning a little bit, dude. That's perspiration's forming a bit.
All right, number 7. Can Reed's law influence the value growth trajectory of this coin? Can the formation of subgroups directly or indirectly influence value perception as a result of the new infrastructure introduced by the coin itself? So clearly, Bitcoin started it all, and it has ballooned into some would say a shitstorm.
Yeah, I think a more obvious comparable here as far as like a Reed's law applicant is Ethereum, right? Meaning like Ethereum introducing smart contracts and programmability, introduced so many different vectors within the market, right? DeFi, NFTs, all these subgroups of activity. But again, like all funneling their value stems back to Ethereum itself. So with Bitcoin, we've got this brewing Bitcoin ecosystem, right? But it's really, you can't like pin the value of Bitcoin to that the way you can for Ethereum.
Yeah.
But then I would think like all blockchains in aggregation is like a subgrouping of
I would agree.
of Bitcoin.
Yeah, 100%.
Because
they wouldn't exist. They wouldn't exist without Bitcoin.
Yeah, so like the continued proliferation of blockchain as a new paradigm is only further enhanced the value of Bitcoin.
Yeah, I agree.
Even though they don't directly like send any return.
So DMT, the framework, applies the same way, funneling value to NAT through buy and burn mechanics. So in the NAT paper, we allude to an app being developed that, if successful, will be able to buy and essentially burn the NAT token.
Mm-hmm.
And so what does that do? It creates more value for the NAT token. Number go up. Bitcoin becomes a little bit more sustainable, and a lot of people win in that scenario. And so the DMT application in terms of Reed's law is you could do a ton of stuff with DMT. You can create games, PFP projects, other type of NFT projects,
AI agents,
DeFi, Bitcoin DeFi.
Yeah, metaverse.
Metaverse assets. So all these are pockets with that make the network value grow.
Yeah.
All right, so number 8 here we have, does the coin pose some technical infrastructure considerations but is demonstrating adoption?
Yeah, so this is like basically everything of tremendous value, right? And then, this is kind of like an antithesis to Murad's thesis. Like, this is the stuff you want to avoid because it implies execution risk, right?
Correct, yeah.
And in most cases, I guess the risk is too high. So let's instead just pile our value into memes.
To memes, yeah, no execution risk. I mean, there's still some execution risk to a meme.
Yeah. It's
everything
not
has execution risk. Let's not lie, right? Everything does have execution risk. Everything. It's just what's the threshold?
Right.
That's the difference.
Yeah, but what we're saying is technical execution risk is a good thing because contingent on the ability to actually achieve industry scale adoption through some sort of new technical layer, technical contribution. That's what produces the 1000x and beyond results.
Well, I think what specifically does that is a solution to a technical problem.
Well, a technical problem, or like just overall some sort of new value add to the network of the industry itself, right?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, but you're right. Typically, those things end up solving big problems.
All right, so Bitcoin miners adopting NAT and integrating it to the pool distribution system. So technical infrastructure considerations, there's Ant Pool, there's Spider Pool. I'm sure there's other miners who are integrating the NAT token because they're already receiving it. They already have this token. It's just a matter of them making it fit within their business model. If they have a pool, they might have to distribute the NAT token to pool participants. Mm-hmm. Maybe it's easier for them to convert the NAT token into Bitcoin so that it's easier to distribute. Mm-hmm. It's like whatever way that makes sense to them, nonetheless, they are recognizing the NAT token.
Yeah.
And it is a technical recognition. It's not some sort of like, they have to distribute this asset. It's like it's a real thing.
Yeah, it's not like some co-marketing.
Yeah.
Like mumbo jumbo, right? It's like some other meme coin project announcing a partnership with some other meme coin project that really doesn't mean anything. It just signals noise.
Yeah, just like it's like a miner saying we're merge mining this token, and there's this blockchain out here that does this stuff, and ultimately that blockchain never gets enough traction for the token to have any value, so that it can sustain Bitcoin. Like that usually has not happened.
Yeah, and that's why we think that is the value NAT, because a lot of these meme coins, they don't have persistency in as far as like what are the catalysts to its perception of growth and adoption, right? Other than like social metrics, right? Are there enough people screaming about it on Twitter or TikTok?
Yeah.
But from a fundamental perspective of a token like NAT, it's like, are there more miners doing the technical due diligence to integrate this, and then just therefore strengthening the distribution anchors for NAT itself to more closely align to Bitcoin?
Yeah.
Right now, there's 2 on the NAT GMI list, and there most likely will be more in the future.
Yeah.
So like those are the catalysts that the market can keep an eye on, right? It's like, okay, more miners adopting, more value, right? It's very, again, left side thinking.
Yeah.
Right? It's very logical.
Yeah.
It's not like subject to, are the vibes right?
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
it's very measurable, right? You can't really measure vibes. Like you can't really do that. I mean, some would argue you could, but you can't. I'm telling you can't. There isn't like a tool out there you can go buy on Amazon is like that you can measure vibes with.
It's like this guy is a total dud, vibe dud. It just doesn't ping at all.
Yeah, it's like here I am at the party.
Yeah, nothing, dude.
Yeah, there's no vibes here. It's like they just don't know, dude.
Yeah, they don't know. Yeah, you're right. So that's why we think it's important not to just eliminate.
Yeah.
This side of the brain.
Yeah, the left side. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Finally, number 9. So we got 2 more. Does the coin's timing coincide with macro trends of centralization concerns, aka is there a big bad wolf in the room?
Yeah.
So we have some examples here. Tau growth and appreciation as centralization of AI by big tech becomes a bigger concern. Tau is a token for decentralized artificial intelligence.
Potensor.
Correct.
Yeah. So as ChatGPT was gaining popularity, we're like, all right, dude, AI is finally a thing.
Yeah.
Let's see if there's some sort of decentralized version of that yet. And that's what led us to Potensor. And
the community was like, you need to look at Potensor. I mean, they were
you guys are talking
crying
about that. And it was like, okay, maybe they're right. And there's like, that is exactly.
Yes.
And we even interviewed the guy himself, and he verified for us. It's like, that is what we're up to. Because we see a threat.
Yeah.
And AI's complete centralized, the destination towards centralization, the same way we see a threat where the destination of Bitcoin centralization can lead to a more unfavorable future as opposed to the original ethos, right? Even Elon said the original ethos behind OpenAI was to be more decentralized, more like in the hands of humanity, not so much the specialized interest of like one corporation.
That's true. And Elon is actively suing
Is
Sam Altman. Yes, he is.
Good luck, man. Good luck, my guy, dude. Yeah.
So BitTensor is not the only one. Mana took off. It did like a 500x as soon as Mark Zuckerberg changed Facebook to Meta because they're going to pivot to the metaverse. Yeah. And so the big bad wolf is a centralized metaverse. Are we going to be okay with that, lads? And I was like, no, let's find a decentralized metaverse. Boom, Mana was there and skyrocketed 500x in like a weekend.
Pretty much, yeah. That's where the big bad wolf became pretty clear. And that is what was missing during those early days of Decentraland, where it was kind of like, why are we doing this?
Yeah. So what's the big bad wolf for the NAT token? Well, we talked about it earlier. It's the centralization of Bitcoin, right? As miners continue to go bankrupt because Bitcoin ceases to double forever, then we might have a situation where the United States accumulates this asset through whatever means necessary. They accumulate this asset to counterbalance their debt. And in doing so, the system continues to create more centralized miners because they go bankrupt. And then the United States is the final miner. And they have a vested interest to prop this up. Everyone will get rich in the meantime, but it's a completely centralized token. And in my opinion, the market cap has some sort of like glass ceiling. But if we maintain decentralization through correct incentives via this NAT token, we can have like a really high market cap for both Bitcoin and NAT.
And not only that, this perfectly segues us into the final and perhaps most important.
The coin represents a new pathway toward greater human alignment. So this is an argument that I've had with you several times, I think.
This was the first example, or the first evidences that you do have the other side of your brain still clocking in. You have some sort of feeling and emotion, and
yeah,
I
would say so. Yeah, I'm still human, I think, for the most part.
Yeah, it's not all about just numbers and hyper logic. I think you feel something for humanity, right?
Yeah.
I think you see you and others like you that, you see the conundrums of humanity, and you think that there is like a logical maybe strategy or methodology that we should go about tying ourselves more closely aligned with each other so that we stop this, like you say, perpetual slapbox match. Dude.
Yeah.
Yeah,
when
is enough?
Yeah, when are we gonna stop fighting each other and actually collaborate? I think that will lead to a better outcome.
For sure, and I think so. And then so it's like, okay, what outcome, right?
Yeah.
I didn't really understand, outcome towards what? What do you mean? But then you brought up the Kardashev scale.
Correct. Yeah.
Which
so I asked you, it's like in for just Bitcoin alone without NAT, what is its purpose? And I told you, I think its purpose without NAT is an independent money layer, right? It's not from the United States or China or anyone else. It's a physics-backed money. And I think that is enough to align the whole planet just by itself. Now, the problem with that in doing so is that the incentives begin to dwindle every halving. Yeah. And therefore, the longevity of this asset is in jeopardy. And so now with Bitcoin and NAT, it's like, okay, now we have this independent money layer. And in my opinion, I think Bitcoin as money is underplaying the value proposition here. And really, I agree with Jason Lowery. It's more like bit power. This is a general purpose computational engine that can be used as money, but it can be used for other purposes such as DMT and others, right?
Right.
So now Bitcoin plus NAT means that we maintain decentralization. Therefore, we maintain alignment throughout humanity as this monetary layer at minimum. But what this ends up giving us is the opportunity to have a network that grows with humanity. And so what that means is as humanity continues to create technologies, we continue to consume more electricity. And if Bitcoin is supposed to sustain its value proposition, well, it needs to consume more electricity so that it has higher security. And so as humanity scales in terms of energy consumption, well, guess what? Bitcoin needs to scale with energy consumption as well, because that is a measure of security. And so if we don't have a system of alignment that transcends 2140, that goes beyond 2140, then we'll have a system of independent money that lacks the security support and therefore, breaks that bond between the alignment of humanity.
Yeah, and so can this trajectory be still upheld in the theoretical but possibly likely scenario where whether it's one or some group of like highly interested nation state parties, like they become the ultimate maintainers of this? Like,
yeah. So you're asking, what if the United States ends up being the sole miner, right?
Or whatever, like entities in control of the United States, right? Whether it's whatever.
So in my opinion, I don't think the United States can produce enough energy to scale with humanity, because our population, what's the size of our population compared to everyone else? It's like 20%.
I think way less than that.
Yeah.
It's probably like less than 10%.
Yeah. So it's like, how are we supposed to like scale and compare humanity with its energy consumption and then scale a network that's going to keep up its pace? How are you going to do that? So if let's assume we're 10% of the population, well, 90% of the population are still working on technology. They're still creating technology that consumes more energy. And when you create technology that generates more energy, well, you have the energy to attack the network.
Correct. Yeah.
And so, the United States cannot print enough money to outpace that. It's sort of like TJ, it's sort of like you go to the gym every day, but you eat pizza every day. You cannot out-train your diet. You can't do it. It's impossible. And so this is the same thing. It's like if the United States ends up being the sole miner of Bitcoin, you cannot out-train, or you cannot prevent the other nation states from producing better technology that could overtake the network.
Correct.
And so the way you solve that is you incentivize the entire planet to consume all the energy that's needed, right? Mm-hmm. And so once you do that, then it doesn't really matter. It's like as humanity scales, we're incentivized to at least portion out some of that energy for the security of the network, and which ultimately means that we maintain an independent money layer.
So we need a shared, if Bitcoin becomes like the newly ingrained, value component to maintaining, this momentum that humanity has, at least right now, where there's like a, shared macro interest in each other's economic well-being, right? It's like we don't want to see like China fail and die, right? That would pose horrible outcomes for ourselves and then every other country, right? So
at minimum economic outcomes, right? But so what's the end goal here is to reach Type 1 civilization. Yeah. So what does that do? It creates an abundance for all of humanity. And so I think we will achieve that. I think we're on our way anyways. But in terms of like having an independent money layer, you need to be able to sustain that network, right? Because otherwise, I think ultimately we will reach Type 1 civilization as long as we don't kill ourselves with nukes, right? Mm-hmm. I think we're in that direction, but that direction just doesn't manifest by itself. It needs effort, right? You need to put work into it.
Yeah, and ideally collective effort. Everybody.
Ideally collective effort, because it gets us there faster. Yeah. And it ultimately, Type 1 civilization means everyone has everything that they possibly could need. And we go from 8 billion people to 20 billion people or 100 billion, right? The planet is largely empty. If you go look around, if you're on a plane, you look down, there's no people.
Right.
Right. So we can sustain 100 billion people on planet Earth.
Yeah, and then we get a new quest, right? New quest comes online from Type 1 to Type 2, which is now now we want to permeate throughout the stars.
Absolutely.
Right? Now we want to spread our higher conscious state about, right? Because we've managed to overcome our like most deepest of biological conundrums, which is this perpetual need for to
explore.
Well, first we've we've done with, or we've somehow gotten past our biological programming to like compete against one another.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Which, was very advantageous to help us get to the point where we, we produce favorable outcomes for our own lineages and such. But, I would argue a higher conscious state is to recognize that is, a benefit to a more primitive version to us, but a flaw to a much more, advanced version of our species. So that is like something that should be like proliferated throughout the universe. Right?
Yeah. And there's people that debate like the purpose of oneself versus the purpose of humanity. I think the purpose of humanity is to continue to make progress. And in what direction is that progress made is towards a type 1 civilization. I think ultimately that is kind of what we're trying to do. And Kardashev is the one who just laid it out, put a name to it. Yeah.
But that's so important is the construct of like an actual definition of humanity's purpose. And so it's kind of like why we felt the need to do that through digital matter theory, right? DMT itself, because we saw like there is this like this within the context of what was making the Bitcoin ecosystem unique and interesting as a result of ordinals, right? It's like there was already this like preset in motion inevitability to like what it makes, constructing digital things out of Bitcoin interesting as opposed to this happening on every other chain.
Yeah.
It was the utilization of data.
Yeah, for sure.
Right? But nobody had a name for that.
That's right.
And it took us a long time to wrestle with in our own heads, like, why is this innately more interesting than everything else we were seeing?
Yeah.
Oh, it's because we've discovered some new substrate primitive within Bitcoin itself that's never been utilized before.
Yeah, and we had an understanding of how physics works and energy inputs and outputs. We understood like how things are made, and it's like the same thing is happening to the Bitcoin blockchain. It's like energy is being injected into it, and it is producing two things, the blockchain and Bitcoin.
Right.
And so why not leverage that? It's like, why not?
Yeah, it's just, at least for us, it feels right.
Yeah.
It feels more interesting. It's potentially a new alignment pathway, again, for the industry of crypto, right? Which, is obviously in like it's in a disordered, chaotic state. Nobody shares anything with one another anymore as far as our convictions and beliefs. We're just all like lost in limbo.
It's true.
It's like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Right? So we hope this resonates with others out there the way it has with us.
Yeah, so we're talking about the NAT token. So what's the market cap? This has to be worth like 100 billion already, right, guys? Because this is very logical. It makes a lot of sense. It has to be at least 100 billion, right? It's like, nope. It's actually like 24 million.
So 1,000x from here is what?
24 billion? No. Yeah, 24 billion.
Are you sure? 100x is...
Yeah, 200...
Hey, you're right, 24 billion.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're talking like...
Come on, that's just Fartcoin times a few.
It's like 2 Pepes.
Yeah.
Half a Doge.
Half a Doge.
Things like that.
We're talking about a token that leads us to type 1 civilization, and you don't think we can reach 24 billion market cap? Get out of here.
That would be pretty disappointing.
Yeah.
That would be a humanity...
fumble of all fumbles.
Yeah. It's like, what got us to type 1? It was Doge all along.
Right.
So whatever. If that becomes the outcome of things, so be it, right?
Yeah. I mean, as long as we get there, right?
Yeah.
So what did you think of my my analogy of out training your diet?
I wouldn't know anything about that, dude. Yeah, that's
so
thermodynamic equation, and I've never figured out.
I saw you chuckling there when I came up with that analogy.
Well, I was chuckling because you pointed out TJ just because.
I was like, what the fuck I had to do with this?
Because it definitely, you can't refer to me. We're talking about like health management, right? It's like, TJ, you know about this, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's because your kid is like actively like playing sports, and it's like,
and because nobody's ever seen him, he's like ripped like Adonis, right?
That's right. Set the standard.
Yeah. Just picture TJ as like just this Greek god of a man. That's him, dude. That's him.
Yeah, I mean, I think that was like an apt analogy.
I think so. I think we've done a lot of that. Hopefully.
Yeah, I mean, I think analogies help explain everything. But yeah, so that is the 10 commandments.
Commandments.
And
again, not with no blasphemous intent.
No, none at all. This is with respect.
Respect and all good graces for humanity.
Yeah, praise be.
Yes.
All right, so if you haven't read the NAT paper and you want to learn more about the NAT token, a link will be in the description. It's natgmi.com. At the very top is the NAT paper. It's quite the read. It's not like your typical white paper where it's like bricks of text.
Yeah, we've gotten requests to like PDFify this, right?
Yeah, I just haven't gotten to it.
Yeah, well, but we've heard those requests, and
yeah,
it will be PDFified at some point. I guess the purpose of that is just easier to like email to one another, I guess, or I don't know.
Yeah.
PDFs is like a standard format for like a text document.
Yeah, I would agree.
Yeah, but that was kind of the point. We don't like.
Yeah, I was like, if PDF is like, why don't you just send the link? Like,
yeah, but
I don't quite understand the motivation to PDF it, but people are requesting it.
Yeah.
All right, I think that's it. I think we covered both halves of the dome here.
Yeah, what a coincidence, though. It's like we did this last year. Perfect timing for Halloween.
Yeah, there is
it just happened to happen again. So Murad, he must just like anchor into like attack mode around this time of year, I guess, because this all transpired originally because of his Token 2049 speech.
Correct. Yeah.
And then this time around, he put out a
45-minute
manifesto.
Yeah.
SPX 6900. You're not bullish enough, right? So what we're saying is definitely not bullish enough.
Yes.
That.
Yeah. Right. All right, guys. Thank you very much for watching. If you have any questions on the NAT token, please put it in the comment section below. I appreciate you for watching, and we will catch you in the next podcast.
Peace.